up, everybody? This is Alex Fischbein back with another Fisch's Friday rant. And this week, we got a couple things to talk about. We got the All-NBA teams that came out. We got two, we got some of the playoff talk going on. And three, we got some of the draft lottery talk. So, first things first, we're going to start this off with some of the All-NBA talk. Now, the All-NBA first team is pretty much what I expected it to be. I expected Russ and Harden. I mean, that was a given. LeBron, he's always on there. LeBron deserves to always be on there. So there was another one. Kawhi Leonard, also expected him to be on there. I mean, those were the top 4 MVP candidates. So, you expect those guys to be on the first team. Now, the center, Anthony Davis, I feel like him, Gobert, and Draymond Green were all pretty interchangeable. I feel like any of those guys could have gotten that position. Unless, I mean, you can put Draymond at power forward as well, and then he'd be a forward in that category then. But for the most part, it went as planned. So, here's where little issues come into play. There was Kevin Durant saying that he thought he should be first team All-NBA. Well, no. Not really. I wouldn't put him in front of Kawhi Leonard. I definitely wouldn't put him in front of LeBron James. He's not a center. And there's no way any other guard should be in front of Russ or Hart. So, what exactly makes Kevin Durant a better option for the first All-NBA team? Really nothing. Yes, he put up some good scoring numbers. But you also have to take into account, it was almost like, first off, we expect Durant to put up big scoring numbers. We also expected him to be even better than he was on a team like Golden State, because you have 3 other potential superstars that are, getting the attention of the defense, so not everyone's on you anymore. People threw Kevin Durant's name into MVP talk. They threw Steph Curry's name in there too. But everyone knew that those guys aren't realistically going to take the MVP home. And when you look at a guy like Kawhi Leonard, who greatly improved his offensive game, still one of the best defensive players in the league. You have LeBron James, who is the best player in the league, the best player in the world. So you're not going in front of him for first team. You got James Harden and Russell Westbrook, who had 2 of the best seasons in NBA history. I mean, Russell Westbrook, second person all time to ever average a triple-double. So we're not putting you in front of any of those guys. Kevin Durant does not deserve to be in front of any of them for the first team All-NBA. He just doesn't. And like I said, he's not a center. He's not getting in over Davis or Gobert. So really, there is no argument. This is not a debate. There was also Draymond Green talking about how Klay Thompson should have been in an All-NBA team. And even then it gets a little dicey because, like we were just talking about, Harden, Russell, lock for first team. Second team, in my mind, the lock for second team was both Wall and Isaiah Thomas. 2 guys who had great seasons in their own right. 2 guys who led their teams. 2 guys who were the MVP of their teams. And 2 guys who did more than just shoot the ball. Now, granted, Klay Thompson is a better defender than those guys. But he's also like the 3rd option on a team. And if you expect him to make it over these 4 guys, you are mistaking. Badly mistaking. That brings you down to the 3rd team. Well, I mean, there's guys like Chris Paul that are still there. There's multitudes of other point guards. You still have Steph Curry. You still have Damian Lillard. You still have a lot of guys who still do more for their teams, have better seasons than Klay Thompson does. So I don't think it's BS that Klay Thompson was left off of the All-NBA team. Moving on again to the playoffs, I thought it was hilarious that people were like, The Celtics can do it. They can win this first game, and then it's a series. And then, the Cavs come out and they just blow them away. We also had people saying that the Cavs were going to get rusty from this rest. When has that been the case for the Cavs? Because we've seen them get rest in before a lot of these series in the past couple of playoffs, and they've usually been better from the rest. That's usually when they are at their best, when they're like a well-oiled machine. So why would this all of a sudden be different, and they would all of a sudden be rusty after the rest from the sweeps in the first 2 rounds? On top of that, they're going against a team that isn't very good in the paint, that isn't very good rebounding, and they have a team with LeBron, Kevin Love, and Tristan Thompson, all who can really rebound the ball and dominate inside the paint. So why would there be any inkling of doubt that the Cavs would win this series? Now, I understand the Celtics are a very well-built team. They play a great team style of ball, team style of defense, and they have good guard play. But the thing is, you can have as good a guard play as you want. You still don't have someone who's going to D up LeBron James. You still don't have someone who is neutralizing Kevin Love right now, because the one guy who did it last time had to dislocate his shoulder to do so. And on top of that, you have to, on top of those 2 guys, you also have to neutralize a guy like Kyrie Irving, where you might be able to neutralize him a game here, a game there, but you're not going to neutralize him for 4 games in order to beat them in a series. So I really don't know where this newfound confidence all of a sudden that the Celtics were going to be able to pull this off. But we saw from game 1 that, there's shouldn't be much confidence left. So, moving on a little bit to the draft talk, there's been talk about, should the Boston Celtics trade the first pick? Should they take Markelle Fultz? Should they take Lonzo Ball? All of a sudden, LeVar Ball and others are saying Markelle Fultz isn't ready for LA, whatever that's supposed to mean. There's a lot of stupid takes. There's a lot of people jumping the gun about different prospects out of nowhere, like there usually is. And really what it comes down to is these teams in the top 5, top 10 picks, once it gets to draft time, I feel like it's not going to be that difficult to decide who you want to pick. Because when it comes to the Celtics, if they get to draft day and they haven't traded the pick yet, they're most likely keeping that pick. And they're going to take Markelle Fultz. Because 1, why would you take Lonzo Ball if you know that they are hell-bent on going to LA? And 2, I guess you could go with Josh Jackson, but at the same time, you just drafted a small forward in Jaylen Brown. So, if you thought Jaylen Brown was going to be a key in your future, why would you go for another one? And at the same time, Isaiah Thomas is getting older. He is a smaller player, so his defense will be lacking. So having another backcourt member to help him out in Markelle Fultz, who will be there for the future, would be a smart move. Now, personally, I do think that they would want to trade this pick because the Celtics seem to be in, okay, let's build this team. Now we're ready to go. Now we need one superstar. We're ready to go. So that would be Paul George or Jimmy Butler. Right there. Those are 2 guys that they have been targeting for a while now, that have been in the rumors that they would be getting. And if you trade for a guy like that and maybe still have some cap room left over, you could maybe sign a guy like Gordon Hayward. And then, bam, you're ready. You're good to go. And now you're actually competing with the Cavaliers. But you bring in Markelle Fultz, you'll be ready to go in maybe a couple years, but then you don't know. Is Isaiah Thomas going to be still at this point, in his prime right now, how he's playing in a couple years, in a few years? Is he still going to be that same level of player? Is he going to be able to sustain that over those few years? And do you look into trading Isaiah Thomas? so that if you get Markelle Fultz, you make him your lead guard, you trade Isaiah Thomas for some other pieces, or maybe that other guy like Paul George, Jimmy Butler, and then you build with a even younger core, and so you're ready to compete for years to come. But anyway, that's it for me, guys. Thank you for watching another episode of Fisch's Friday Rant. Make sure you check out our website, basketballsocietyonline.com. If you're looking for more draft talk, I just put out a podcast. I do the Atlantic Files on Basketball Society as well. Talked with one of our fellow society members, Aram Canusio. There's some great draft talk on there, so definitely check that out as well. We're in the podcast network for the Deepish Thoughts, so we are with them for the Atlantic Files as well, so check that out. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys next week. Peace.